Goes for Monticello Pawn and Gun, too. Same deal up there. GLers, DK Mags and Monticello Pawn and Gun, they're the best full-service gun stores in the metro and my only choice for guns and ammo and accessories. I even use them. I use DK for gunsmithing. Good selection there, fair pricing. And what sold me initially still sells me every time I call them. The most experienced, friendly staff you'll ever deal with. No snobs here. Special orders and no big deal. The wait times, you're going to see anywhere from a week to 3.5 weeks. It depends on what you're ordering and the availability. Check out their website, dkmags.com, or better yet, stop into DK Mags on Old 8 up in New Brighton, or Monticello Pawn and Gun. They're easy to find right on the main drag 25 in Monticello, south of the freeway. Vets, police, first responders, y'all get a special discount. It's a gun shop for GLers, run by GLers. It's dkmags.com.
Why would you put a new hydroelectric plant under a glacier never mind.
Yeah. You're never going to figure that one out.
Over the weekend, did you all get the Amber Alert on your telephones? I did.
Yes.
I did, yes.
That's horrifying, isn't it? And fortunately, the little kid was found safe. And, you people that start your car and then run back into the house and leave the kid in the car, I got news for you. You're not safe doing that anywhere. Anywhere.
Right.
Last night, 7 o'clock, the Walgreens parking lot, Snelling and Randolph, my Walgreens. Mom runs into the Walgreens, leaves the car running with the 6-year-old in the car. Instantly stolen. She comes out, no car, no kid. That kid was also found safe. Right. In both cases, suspects have not been arrested. But the car was found minutes later near McAllister and Niles, which is 200 yards southwest of Walgreens parking lot. So the dunce that took the car didn't get very far.
Right.
And thank God for I'm assuming a quick police response. 7 o'clock last night. Officer...
Who the hell is... the Mount Curve thing, the Walgreens parking lot. Who is walking around that area doing this?
I can't tell my women folk enough, and I still am convinced they're not paying attention to me. You have really got to check your environment. You have got to look around. If you come out of Walgreens and you see 3 guys that are kind of lurking near your car, keep walking. Either that or go back in the store.
Right.
Don't go to your car. Constantly telling that. Officers were able to find the 6-year-old girl unharmed. Wonderful, thank God. The incident comes a day after a 1-year-old boy was inside a running Jeep when it was stolen from outside a home in North Minneapolis. He was found safe in Brooklyn Center after a woman spotted the vehicle, presumably due to having been alerted on her phone by the Amber Alert. Yeah, it says
she
here.
was.
She was, yeah.
She's
Great.
the one that got on her binoculars?
I think so.
Yeah, she was a cute lady.
God love you, people. People, what is wrong with you? Here, I'm going to read something else that led me to a deep thought on the Garage Logic Service Road of Life.
I can tell you before you do that. I can tell you what's wrong with people. Bad things haven't happened to them. They think they're infallible. Bad things, lots of bad things have happened to me. Yep. So I'm suspicious of virtually everything and everybody. Right. That's how I stay alive. I don't trust you.
Well, I think we're entering a new paradigm of crime. I think that. Well, let me set it up with this story. The owner of the Gnome, which is a restaurant, I believe, on Selby Avenue in St. Paul.
Yes.
In the Cathedral Hill neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Yep. Brian Ingram. Said thieves used crowbars to break into his restaurant. Once inside, they stole a safe containing a couple of $100. We have 21 cameras in here and alarms going off, said Ingram. That's what's scary. They're not afraid of anything anymore. Ingram said it took police 24 minutes to get to his business. But he doesn't blame them for the slow response. He blames city leaders. In a video shared widely on social media Sunday, Ingram begged city leaders to do something about what he says is an increase in crime. This is insanity that our businesses are being robbed daily, he said. Where are you elected officials? What are you doing? It's time for you to step up and step out. Sunday's incident was the third robbery at the restaurant in the last 10 days,
Jeez.
including a carjacking where a couple was victimized while leaving the restaurant. Wow. Right now, it seems in our city, it's carte blanche to do whatever you want.
Yes.
If you are a criminal, you know we don't have enough police officers, and if they're not going to show up for 30 minutes, you can get in and out in 5. What's to stop you? St. Paul police say robberies across the city are down 15%, but in the Western District, where the Nome is, there's an increase in robberies. We're just one restaurant. Everybody I'm talking about around us is being robbed, said Ingram. Our officials, it's just cricket noise. We're not hearing anything from them. Ingrid said he's tried to make contact with the city council member who represents his neighborhood, Dai Tao, with no response. Tao's office did not respond to Fox 9's request for comment. After posting, Ingram did receive a call from Mayor Melvin Carter, and he issued a statement. The safety concerns the pandemic has brought demand. The safety concerns the pandemic has brought. Okay. The safety concerns the pandemic has brought demand action. What does robbing have to do with the pandemic?
Right.
Basically, what I heard there was wah, 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 wah,
Yeah.
wah, 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 wah.
That's deflection is what that is.
I am working closely with impacted community members and police department leadership alike to adjust our public safety strategies to meet this unprecedented moment. Okay.
No, he's blaming the pandemic on... No,
reject it.
wrong.
Give me my big pad of stamper, and I reject it.
These aren't people going hungry and trying to put food on their family. These are people taking advantage of an opportunity. Less police more busy. They know what they can get away with. Pandemic has nothing to do with this.
No.
You lying frauds. The only thing we've heard from Melvin is that, hey, I'm running again for office. Mm-hmm. No, he along with Minneapolis, they're all frauds. They're all liars, and they're all crooks.
But there's a change in. Boy, I'm struggling for the words. There's a change in the temperament of young people. Yeah. Did you see where Did you see where a 16-year-old kid was arrested for his part in the beating up of 2 women at Talbot's in Highland about 3 weeks ago?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, no, good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, I hope he gets some time.
But he's 16. He's probably in and out already. Quick turnaround for that kid.
And then you'll note, I told you a story in my naivete. I was so shocked by it, having never witnessed it before. Well, first I told you the CP witnessed some kids stealing stuff at the same Walgreens where the lady just lost her car. And that when she went to say something, she was waved off by people working behind the prescription counter. Yeah. In other words, don't involve yourself. We don't want to see you get hurt.
Yeah. We know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking into a Walgreens on Grand Avenue about a month ago.
I forgot about this.
And I followed 3 girls in, 3 teens. And I went to, what was it? Oh, typing paper. I went to get a ream of typing paper. And I knew where it was, so I walked directly to the stationery aisle, got the typing paper, walked back, paid for it. And as I did, these same 3 girls are scampering, somewhat giddily, by the way, out the door, each of whom with a handheld basket of beauty products. And I said to myself, well, wait a minute. There's no way they paid for that.
No.
They would have been ahead of me. There's no way they paid for that. So I went out and I got the license number of one of the cars, and I walked back in and said to the manager, do you know you just got ripped off? And he said, yeah, I know. I said, well, do you want the license plate number of one of the cars? And he said, sure, I'll call it in. But he was so resigned to it.
Right.
We're seeing behavior that is completely unaffected by any moral or ethical fear. Yes. We're seeing behavior by young people who, it's beyond that they don't care. We're seeing behavior that is appalling to those of us past a certain age who had respect for authority. There's no respect for authority. None.
Right.
And now when I go to get paper, I'm always on the lookout for this.
Well, you can get it for free at work, and you're the only person that still calls it typing paper. The rest of us call it copy paper, but
all right.
That's beside the point. And Chris, one of Chris's arguments is, well, that 16-year-old, these kids need to be in school, and that's why they're doing this. I'm at the point where I'm calling BS on that. Yeah, I agree somewhat, but I don't think them being in school would change matters.
No, I think if they're going to behave like that, they'd behave like that despite being in school.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and then I think, security guard, Walgreens should have a security guard. Well, they'd just overpower them. I mean,
Right.
You need a team of security guards. The restaurant you mentioned, what was the... Yeah, the Gnome. They don't
Gnome.
need not just a security guard. They need 6 guys on hand. I know companies that do have a team of security guards, and they're still getting hit. Parking lot, cars, etc.
At what point does the criminal realize that the Gnome is onto them and they're not keeping anything in the safe anymore?
When they get shot in the face, Matthew, that's when.
But if the Gnome isn't
Violence
resisting,
is the only thing that will cure violence.
I think Rook
we
is
can't
saying
endorse that, and we can't go there.
I think Rook is saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me you're saying that the Gnome would have their pictures clearly on their video cameras.
right?
Right.
And then, but also,
They don't care. They don't care.
But also, they're not putting anything in the safe anymore.
Right.
They're not
Apparently
putting their $100 in the, or maybe it's just the
Right.
the
So
petty
then they
cash.
get attacked when they're leaving for the night.
You recall the story about the guy who was a retired deputy sheriff leaving Mancini's 2 months ago with his wife, and was confronted about, give me the keys to your car, and he pulled out his gun. Remember that story?
Yep.
No. How'd
Yeah.
that turn out for him?
Turned out well. Nobody got killed, and he got his car, and those guys fled.
Yeah.
I guess you
Yeah,
call
the
that
only
turning
thing-
out well.
Yes.
I'm afraid we're at the point where if somebody's in a restaurant and they're protecting their property in the middle of the night, the only thing that's going to stop these kids is a good sound beating.
Yeah, and then what kind of trouble would I have been in for confronting the 3 girls at Walgreens? I'm
You would
white.
have got your ass kicked.
Well, they're not
Have you ever
white.
seen a girl fight?
Yeah, they
they're
can be
worse than a
violent.
boy fight.
They can be violent.
Yeah, they're bad.
Yeah, they don't
They're
hold
bad.
back.
Yeah,
It's just a shame.
Gone are the days of a cat fight. No, these are vicious fights.
Well, and there is no area in the metro where you are safe
Right,
from this.
right. It's going
this can
way
happen
up into the
anywhere,
northern suburbs.
anytime,
Yep.
anywhere.
And it is, Joe. It is.
Well,
it's spreading everywhere.
I'm guilty of it right now, calling out Walgreens and Highland Park, and that was unheard of. There was no crime and maybe an occasional break-in of a garage or something like that. But there weren't these carjackings of the paper boy that was beaten up, the pizza
yeah.
delivery guy.
Yeah.
It's very it's frustrating.
I think the beatdowns they're issuing are just part of the thrill for them. I think this is an old reference, but it's counting coup is what it is. Mm-hmm.
But
it's
parents-
putting notches on your handles, whatever.
Parents, please don't leave your kid in the car unattended. Please. It's not worth it.
All right,
Either-
Gabe, you got to come into the store with me, Gabe.
Well, your kid is old. You could,
Your kid would sell him the car.
yeah.
You would. You would.
But geez, don't do it. And the other thing that's really become foolish is starting your car in the morning in the event it's not in the garage, and then going back in and having your second cup of coffee, hoping to come out to a warm car to drive to work. Well, your car will be gone.
The story, it was Lakeville or Apple Valley. Both the wife and the husband had their cars running in the garage.
Yeah, we had this story 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, wasn't it a GL or two, or was it right out of the paper? I don't know.
It was out of the
Both
paper,
cars.
and obviously they had the garage door open with their
Right.
cars running, and then they
Right.
come out, the cars are gone.
But meanwhile, in the rest of America, Such, my truck has been running since 4:30, and it still is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like that everywhere. It's just sitting out there idling.
But nobody would want that anyway. It's just a dreadful vehicle.
It's a 2016. The only thing wrong with it is the stink from inside.
Oh, God.
That's when the carjackers bring your keys to the door and say, hey, you know what, we were thinking about it, but no, we're going to leave.
Hey, carjackers, I lost a dead fish in there somewhere. I can't find it, but
No, they get in there and they say, What What smells like salmon? Was he at Grundhofer's?